Welcome everyone, welcome to today's masterclass. I'm so happy to see you beautiful people. Some of you I haven't actually met. So we've got Aruna, I haven't met you, I don't think. I don't think I met Shira, and I don't think I met Kathy. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember all the names that comes up on the Zoom room. So welcome everyone, welcome. So before we jump in, I'm just going to allow everyone just to kind of land into the space before I start talking about the soul contract. So yeah, welcome everyone. So we've got Clementina as well, and Lisa. I don't know if we met properly, Lisa, either. We've got Pagati and Rebecca, and then we've got Shira. Yeah, so we've got everyone. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes actually before we get into the topic. So in case you didn't realize, I will do 2 mini readings on 2 people in the end, sort of 5-10 minutes each, so that you get an idea. And I will just pick it intuitively. Now, the thing of what we have here is that if somebody have a non-English name originally, I can't pick you today. I will have to do more of a prepared reading, because what it is, when we translate it into phonetic English, I often can do it quite quickly, but I don't want to be sitting for 10 minutes, try work the phonetics out to do the actual reading. So it might feel a little bit unfair, but for speed and for ease, today I will pick an English origin name, so I don't have to do the phonetics like on cue. So, but we can do another phonetic one another time, and then I can allow a little bit more time and a little bit more preparation, so that I can pick 2 people in advance, basically, so that I can do the preparation before the actual class. So I just thought I'd say that in case you think, well, why didn't you pick me? Why did you not pick me? But I just wanted today to showcase how I can read your soul contract quite quickly and show you how it works, and just give you sort of the overview of the work. So please do stay on, even if you have a non-origin English name, and don't feel sad, please. I just want everything to run smoothly. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to speak also a little bit about the work. So welcome everybody. First of all, I just want to know who is actually familiar with the soul contract. Is there anyone here? I mean, put it in the comments, perhaps. Just let me know. Do you know anything about the work, or have you read the book, or or is it completely new? Yeah, maybe just give me a sort of a heads up in the comments there. So Lisa says familiar with the concept. Yep, cool. Anyone else? Let's see. Yeah, feel free to share your experience, and if you're completely new, that's also probably why you're here as well, because you're thinking, I don't know anything about it, that's why I'm here. So yeah, just a little bit, yeah, tiny bit. Okay, cool. Excellent. So really nice, like I have no idea. That's okay. So let's just go into this. So first of all, some of you, so new to the concept, you know a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that with me, ladies. So some of you might know me and some of you might not know me. So I just wanted to do a very brief intro to who I am and why I do this work, etc. So I'm Jenny Lyon. I am a healer, a channel, and I'm a business mentor for spiritual entrepreneurs. I didn't start as a business mentor. I started as an energy worker, and then I created a really epic business for myself. And then I started to teach other spiritual entrepreneurs to do the same. So it kind of just evolved that way. And the soul contract is actually a part of what I do. So I trained to do the soul contract over 15 years ago now. So I used to do single soul contract readings for people locally where I live, being a coach and a healer. So that's kind of how I got into the work at the time. It was like an exciting thing to go deep into somebody's purpose and mission this lifetime. And then obviously, as I evolved as a healer and online coach and business mentor, I incorporate the soul contract in all the work that I do pretty much, because it's such a powerful tool. It's like, if you're familiar with human design, there's people who like incorporate the human design in their entrepreneurship and things like that. So I do the same here. Hi, Cynthia. It's so great to see you. Cynthia Jakes is here as well. Great. So yeah, so see what she's saying. Hi. Yeah, hi. So that's how I do it. I've been doing energy work for over 20 years. And some of you maybe, I don't know if you watched a replay of Light Body Discovery Masterclass last week. I was just talking a little bit about my spiritual awakening and my journey myself as well. So you can head back in the group somewhere if you want the link for the replay. You can ask for it later on. But yeah, so I've been doing the energy thing, if you like, for a long time. I started out quite confused, I would say, age 23, didn't know how I would be possibly able to change the world with my spiritual gifts. Felt really, I think most spiritual sort of facilitators can they can feel familiar with that feeling, like, am I powerful enough? Can I do this work? Am I really here to do this thing? Or am I better off going back and do a job? So that kind of conversation. So that conversation was going on with myself many years ago. And then the soul contract was actually one of the things that really catalyzed me into fully immersing myself in the spiritual mission, and like never ever think about doing anything else ever in my life ever again. So it's like such a big part of my own growth and my own activation, actually, as a leader in the healing and light space, that I couldn't not include it. So it's actually really powerful. My teacher actually found me. I used to do massage at the time, and he came to have a massage with me. And then I looked at his website and I was like, oh my God, why would he have a massage with me? Like, how does he think I could help him if he knows all these things? But obviously he could see something in me. And then that's how the journey started. It was really cool. So Pragata just says here, I get confused between soul contract and human design. Well, it's just two different systems, really. Human design is also a channel system of spiritual interpretation of somebody's journey here on earth. And the soul contract is also a system of spiritual interpretation used through decoding the sound of your name. So we're going to go into that today. It's just two different systems. You've got gene keys, you've got astrology, there's so many different systems that we can use to understand our journey here on earth, and why we're here, and understanding our purpose and things like that. So whatever feels cool to know more about, go with that. Yes, so let's get in a little bit. So I haven't actually got slides today. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the soul contract and how it works, and then I'm going to do my own case study. I show my soul contract, and I will just explain a little bit how it works. So I don't know if you read, so you can go and read the book, Your Soul Contract Decoded, which is actually a book that is explaining the work a little bit more in detail, in very sort of straightforward English. It could be quite complicated spiritual language sometimes, but this book is actually really good, Your Soul Contract Decoded. So you can go and check that on Amazon. I'll send a link with the replay and everything later. You'll get a link with all the things. So yeah, the soul contract was actually, it's a channeled interpretation that was brought back into Earth. It used to exist on Earth. The history tells us, or the channeling tells us, over 2,000 years ago. It's based on the sound of your name, and it's a Hebrew, we're using the Hebrew alphabet for the breaking down the numbers and the letters. So it used to be called the numerology of Moses. So it is based on the Hebrew alphabet. The actual numbers and letters is 22 numbers, 22 letters. And as you know, Hebrew is one of the sacred languages of God, and sound is creative. So it's based on the knowledge that our name given to us, whether it doesn't matter what nationality and where we're from, has a vibration that is landed and embedded into our fields. So our name holds a frequency that is of a specific vibration. And if we break down, it's like you're breaking down music into notes. If you break down the sound of your name into these notes, that's actually your soul contract. This is the numerology of your name. So when we break the sound down using the soul contract intelligence, if you like, it's basically, I'm going to show you on my chart how it works, but it's basically breaks it down into the challenges that we have, and then breaks it down into the gifts and talents, what we're here to do, like what we're actually here to do as healers, channels, writers, singers, whatever, creative thing we come here to do. And then we have a goal part of things. So where we actually feel like we are working towards something in our lives that we would like to achieve. It could be like a dream or like a vision that we have for ourselves. And then you have the actual soul destiny, which is the very essence of why your soul came. And it's almost like the rest of the numbers in your chart, I'm going to show you, once those numbers are kind of illuminated, activated, decoded, transmuted into gifts, and we clear the karma away, we become then the walking, talking expression of our soul, and your soul destiny then becomes activated. So it's almost like we are really, truly activating our purpose, why we came here to the planet this lifetime through the work. And that's why I think that's what happened to me. So I had it. I was like, he is telling me all the things that I know in my heart, but I couldn't trust the knowledge that I had in my heart before somebody told me that this is actually true, and every single thing I was told resonated. So it just basically just cracked me open, and that's what happened to me. so since then I haven't really looked back. But yeah, so the work is based, it's a spiritual essence. So what happens as well, the way we use the soul contract is very much like, okay, so this is your birth name. This is who you came in to be this lifetime. And then when you change your name or get married or change countries or do something else like optimizing your name, you can see I have optimized my name, so Jenny Lyon, Rainbow Anderson. You change the frequency. So this frequency that I was talking to you about, the notes of the music, if you like, changes in your fields. So then your experience of life also changes. So it's almost like you can use the soul contract as an amplifying tool to optimize your life experience this lifetime. Of course, people optimize their life experience without using their soul, like the intelligence of the soul contract. But because we can decode where things are going, where things are not going right, where it's going wrong, we can basically go, right, there it is. That's why it's not going how we want it to be. This is how we can shift it around by either optimizing names or work on the challenges specifically so that you can transmute them into gifts and come into your full soul mission. So that's why it's so powerful, because we then have to sort of do the guesswork almost. It's almost like, here is the problem, this is the solution, let's clear it up. So that's why I find it so powerful, because we don't have to sort of like beat around the bush so much. So this is obviously for people who's like, oh, I feel stuck, I don't know where to start. I feel disempowered, or I feel too shy, or I feel this, I feel frustrated, I feel this, what do I do now? So there's lots of questions often when people have their soul contract reading. It's often like, I've had enough. I know that there's more to my life and my spiritual journey. I know that there's more to my mission. I just haven't really found the actual, haven't found the essence of what that is just yet, or I found sort of an essence of it, but I want to know more. So there is this questioning type of, it's just this questioning around life and your mission and what you're here to do. So yeah, Cynthia says, what if you change your name? So exactly that. So when somebody changes their name, so let's say they get married, people change their names all the time, right? The frequency changes. So it's like, if you imagine that you have a cake, so your birth name is your cake, and then you put an icing on the cake, there's like a frequency of vibration that is then becoming active in your life. That frequency of sound will then start creating different, it's like a different sort of, different vibration really in your field, and then start creating different experiences in your life as well. So some people might say, well, my soul is leading me, or my conscious mind, and my subconscious mind is leading me. So for example, I'm a healer as well. So I would say, well, your subconscious mind is actually creating reality. So if you don't see the results that you may be seeing and wanting in your life right now, it is because your subconscious mind has got negative beliefs around whatever it is that you're not achieving. So I would then say, a part of changing the whole thing, if you change your name, there's a new vibration, and it starts pushing on those patterns that are unhelpful. And then you go, oh gosh, I can see this now. Oh my God, this is such an unhelpful behavioral and a thought process of mine. I'm going to change it. So by changing the vibration of the name, it's just another tool to push those programs out that are not helpful, that are just that are just making us feel frustrated and stuck and going around in circles. So it's just another tool to help us get unstuck, really. So when you change your name, it could either be helpful, so that it's like, wow, this is like, it unlocks you, or it could be like unhelpful, slows things down, makes it harder, or kind of neutral. So what we obviously don't want to add a name that is going to make things harder. People get married and it becomes just a different frequency. It's not unhelpful. It's just different, different style, different vibe of their life. It doesn't necessarily have to be unhelpful. But often what happens, I often get these people come to me and, oh, I'm so stuck. And I'm like, okay, I can almost see their numbers. And then when we do the soul contract, I'm like, this is what's happening here. We need to change this, need to change this. And they're like, oh my God, finally somebody could see what's happening. So it's really cool. As in, like, before I start speaking to people, sometimes they're like, okay, I can see the 21-3, or I can see a 22-4, or I can see a 9 stuck or something somewhere. And then as soon as we get to work, we can start unlocking it. But yeah, so any more questions on that, actually? So Cynthia said, what was to change your name? So I changed my name because I wanted a more optimal experience. Yeah, exactly. So if I'm going to show you guys as well how it works, how are we time? Okay, that's fine. Any other questions on that, actually, before I kind of show you my chart and we go into, because this is just like a discovery session, really. So obviously you won't learn everything about it in one go. There wasn't any questions. So let's show my chart. And then I just used myself as like a bit of a case study. And then we're going to do, so let me just share the screen, actually. So go. Okay, so let me just do this. So we have okay. So as you can see here, this is my Swedish name. So I'm Swedish, I'm born in Sweden, and I came to the UK in 1998. So in Sweden, my name is Jenny Kristina Louise Andersson. So when I say that slowly, you can see how the English phonetics are not straightforward as you would think of a Jenny. Because it's not pronounced that way, it's pronounced in Swedish in a different way. So we have basically changed the Swedish pronunciation, the name, into English phonetics to make sure I get the right numbers. If I'd put in Jenny, Christina Louise Anderson with a double S. It's a totally different frequency because it's totally different sound if we pronounce my name in English. So this is my birth name. The numbers in itself, I have a combination of 7s and I have 10 1s that, like, you know, 2 sets of 10 1s and 2 sets of 7s. I'm not going to go through what every single number means because that's like, you know, a masterclass in itself. Yeah, Cynthia had a Latvian name before changing it to English. Exactly. So your experience would have changed, you know, your life experience would have changed. So let's just give a little overview. So there's 22 numbers and 22 letters. You have a physical triangle, which is this one here. And then you have a spiritual triangle. And, you know, technically, I mean, this is the Star of David. But technically we are, you know, grounding our physicality, like the physical, into earth here with this triangle here. And then we're connecting to the divine through this triangle here, like pointing to the heavens. All right. So if you think of this as physical talents, is very much like, you know, what am I good at here in the 3D world? And what am I here to do in the 3D world in a physical manner? I will explain what 12-3 means in a moment. And if you think of this bit here, the spiritual goals, you know, what is it that I strive for in my life? You know, what is it that I want to achieve? What is my masterpiece this lifetime that I want to, you know, create? Because that's like your spiritual goals. You could have physical goals as well, but they're more sort of a grounded, practical reality that you want to create, while it's a spiritual goal will be more of a extended sort of like, you know, something you want to leave behind or something that you're really passionate about, something that your soul came here to do. So I started out, so I was going to explain to you a little bit what karma, talents and goals means. So the karma obviously means that this is something that is hard. You've been given the karmic numbers or whatever the numbers are to work through this piece here, and spiritual karma as well. Is the same. It's something you need to work through. So in my case, 7s mean in a karmic position, it means somebody's quite shy and who was keeping, you know, as a kid, I was keeping myself to myself quite a lot. I was like in the bubble, dreamer, sort of wanted to disconnect, heart wound. So like divorced parents, feeling very unsafe, many, you know, often. And the 7s is typical like that, you know, in the karmic position. So the flip side of that, to work through the 7s, is to find relationships where I feel safe, obviously heal my trauma and heal my heart wounds, come out of my bubble and become very sort of like connected with reality and not trying to zone out, because that's like the ego trying to zone out from trauma. And becoming very connected and heart connected with people instead of becoming isolated. So I've been isolated many times in my life, and, you know, but being out and doing what I'm doing here, I've got 7s in spiritual talents. It's about connecting with people all the time, you know, pulling people together, groups, spiritual groups, activating them, helping them heal their heart trauma and things like that. So from a sort of shy kid, also having the becoming fearless really about showing who I truly am, because 7s are also about Gemini lessons and things like that. So not always showing my spirituality, being scared of what people would actually think of me. That was a big thing up until I was probably about 25, 30. I wouldn't really show them how spiritual I was in case they wouldn't like me. And this is a bit like the spiritual closet, right? So many people with the 7s would have kind of, you know, a spiritual closet or fear of not being loved or accepted for being truly, you know, deeply spiritual. This is all about coming into becoming one person and not showing different sides of yourselves all the time, like being just one-faced person about, you know, your spiritual mission. And actually this only really happened for me fully once I got into this work, and I was about 30 then. So before that, I was in spiritual closet, and I also felt like I had to present myself in different ways in different environments. So I got accepted, for the fear of not being accepted and for the fear of not being loved. And 7, so one of the hardest ones to like really sort of, be truthful and honest and show, your heart on your sleeve. So me sharing this sort of personal thing with you guys is one thing that I had to really work on, because for me to feel safe, really, to do it. So I'm doing well, basically trying to sort of really explain, my vulnerability and share my own vulnerability with my audience is one of the things. So that's a little bit about the 7s. 10-1, I'm talking a little bit about the challenges here, because it's nice to see how somebody would go through challenges and then obviously be able to overcome those challenges and then turn them into gifts instead. So I feel now with the 7s, if I find myself trying to isolate a little bit, I notice, I'm like, okay, let's not isolate. Let's reach out to these people. Let's stay connected. Don't do the 7th thing, Jenny. So I'm kind of, aware of this. And with the 10-1 in spiritual karma, it means that 10-1s, anyone with 10-1s, the life is of the spiritual nature. It's not like, oh, I'll do a little bit of meditation here and there. It's almost like life is all about the spiritual work. And before I really got into my spiritual work, I felt quite lost, really, because my soul knew that my life is all about the spiritual work. And now I'm living that, So I've worked through this, feeling, concerned about how to share my spiritual work, feeling empowered enough to have to share the spiritual work, etc. And now I'm doing it all the time. So I feel like I really worked through a lot on the 10-1. 10-1 can be quite, it's a masculine energy. So I'm really working on my feminine energy a lot, so that I don't come across too harsh and too sort of, I wouldn't say abrupt, but, the 10-1 can be quite harsh because of the fear of rejection, because the 10-1 is all about abandonment. So abandonment of the masculine, which was my father, and they divorced, my mom and dad, so that was like the abandonment of the father. So I really much worked a lot around the masculine, healing the masculine wound and things like that as well. This is quite interesting. So with the 11-2 here, the 11-2 is about, I showed you here earlier with the spiritual goals. This is more like your masterpiece, or things that you want to work towards as your life piece, your life mission. And the 11-2 in spirit goals actually means educating people on a high level of a spiritual nature, almost at university level. So I can see how this could come into fruition as I go through, becoming more and more advanced, doing spiritual teachings and, leading groups and things like that. So that's quite interesting, something I could never believe really when I was first told that was what it is. Now I can see it's going to happen. So I'm like, yeah, that's really cool, that I, coming into my full teaching, if you like, leaving something behind. The soul destiny, this is very much so. The 10-1 in my case is about becoming the walking, talking version of your soul, embodying my soul, embodying the vision, like enlightenment and all those things. And I think that's why, so I do something called light body activations as well, and light body work. And it's a very sort of 10-1 work, because it's like really high frequency sort of soul, integrating the soul into the body, and activating the soul mission. So that's a little bit about myself. 12-3 is a spiritual teacher, basically somebody who's also a bookworm and read everything, learn, expand, overstretch sometimes as well, the 12-3, which is something I'm working on constantly, so I'm not overdoing things. It's quite interesting. I always do a lot of things to learn new things. So lifelong learner, etc. So that's a little bit about that one. I think what we do, we'll just stop a little bit and see if there was any questions before I look at the overlays. So yeah, any questions on that? I'll need just a drink break. Feel free to speak out as well, obviously. You don't have to just do it in comment box. Lisa thinks it's fascinating. It is fascinating. It's very fascinating. Any things coming up for you, ladies?
Yes, Jenny, I would like to know, what is spiritual karma? And well, I guess like there's physical karma and spiritual karma. Things we have to work through, or? Yeah,
exactly. So spiritual karma, physical karma, the way it's played out for myself. So the physical karma was very much about the sevens, about the heart wound, being abandoned by the father, being isolated a lot as a kid. I was the only child. My mother was drinking. So it was like a physical experience of trauma. Do you know what I mean? Or like a physical experience of feeling isolated and disconnected to love, really. The spiritual karma. So for me, the 10-1 means fully like Archangel Michael energies. 10-1 means fully like channeling, energies of the divine. The 10-1 means also disconnection from God, which means, because 10-1 is very much connection, full connection to God, but then when it's in a karmic position, this is where I came on and off the spiritual path a lot and sometimes doubted it. And only when I've committed fully to my spiritual path and allowed myself to be in my spiritual path every day and not pretending that I was someone else because I wasn't empowered enough to be on the spiritual path, that's when the 10-1 like calmed down. So it's like she's working through it, basically. She's doing the spiritual path. She's not trying to avoid it. So depending on what numbers you have there, they will play out slightly different. Physical would obviously be more of a physical experience, as I just said, with my own sort of trauma, my own family, how I grew up. And then the 10-1 is more like of a soul, sort of spiritual sort of expression. But the soul decides to come in with the things that we need to work on so that we come into wholeness. So nothing is ever a coincidence. It's meant to be this way. But yeah, does that make sense? Cool. So I will show you a little bit of the overlay, because I changed my name. So I was Jenny Anderson, which was like just the English pronounced name, because my middle name was Christina Louise, so I didn't use that. So Jenny Anderson for a while. But then when I got into this work, a part of my spiritual activation as a leader was to actually really work through those things that I felt challenging, which was the 7, which was to show up, being my true spiritual self, feeling empowered enough to say I am able to do this work. So I was like, right, let's bring the big guns in. Let's bring the big guns in so we can do this work, so we can blaze through. So that's where I optimized the name. And I've got 9s, which is a powder dragon. And then I've got 13 chords, which is very much about the divine feminine, the flow of abundance, the flow of Christ consciousness, which also helped me to become a better mother, because the 13-4 is very much for divine feminine, divine mother energy. So I'll just show you that. And then we do them in the readings, I think. So let me just get the overlay up. Yeah, that's fine. And I could do another one soon on, because you can use this work, you see, for relationships as well and for business. So I'll do that on another class. This is more like a personal sort of activation sort of class. So let me show you I'm going to share. Oh, there we go again with that one. All right, so hopefully you can see that okay. So basically I wanted, so when I was like, okay, great, I'm here to be a spiritual teacher. I'm here to catalyze group to awaken and heal their hearts and lead people into the new world. You know, that's great. I'm here to help, you know, to do that. So I was okay. So how can we bring the big guns in? So the nines, the way it works when you have an optimized name is that the numbers that fall in the talent position will actually work up into the karma and down into the goals as well. So it's like it channels to burn through the karma and the goal. Because with the goals, although it is like a positive sort of like a vision, dream that you're working towards, you will also experience the challenges of that number, because sometimes it feels tough to ground. For example, this is the 8, to fully be here. This is like a starseed feeling, you know, not really wanting to be on Earth, although we volunteered. So it's very much this energy here. So when I picked my optimized name, I wanted to obviously it to be as powerful as possible so that I didn't have to do it again. And the 9s then really helps you to catalyze through the karma and burn through the karma and the goal positions as well. So I've got the 9s here as well. So this was very much about, you know, really get me going with the spiritual groups, because the 7s in spiritual talent means literally you're here to catalyze spiritual groups, which I could hardly ever believe. You know, when I was first told, I was like, oh my God, how can I do a group? You know, I can hardly do it myself. So, you know, I couldn't believe it. So although this number then works through the 7 here, also works through the 10-1 and the 11-2. So the 9s are the most powerful energy. And what happens now, because these 9s are really integrated, I've had this name now for 12, 13 years. So it's like, it's really embedded into my DNA. I get a lot of clients with 9s because they want to also activate their 9s, if that makes sense. Because the 9s are very much like it's very light leader, you know, the sort of spiritual leader sort of energy, because you need this kind of power to burn through the density of the 3D world. So many people come for that. Then I wanted to be more grounded and more present. So I wanted another set of 8s, which is this one here. Also enhances the clairvoyancy and things like that. The 13-4 is the flow of divine feminine. So I added 3 of those because I was like, you can't really get enough of the divine feminine, especially me in my masculine energy here with the 10-1. I was like, okay, how can we bring more softness and more love and more, you know, just flow and soft energy to my life. And this is what I wanted. So that's what I did. The 6s, very much about focus and business, actually, and grounding your creativity into the 3D plane. So that was really good for my business, actually, because I got super focused and just got on with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, no sitting around, action taking, etc., etc. So that's actually how. So on a personal level, it helped me to become a better mother because of the 13-4, divine energy, divine feminine energies. And work through my own mother issues, etc. It also helped me to be more grounded and present, you know, as a partner. In work, obviously, it sort of really gave me a lot more confidence, power, and focus. You know, it's like I couldn't really do without this name. And yeah, so that's really, it's been super, super, super magical, really, super, super helpful. I don't think I'll ever change my name to anything else. I don't know, maybe I will, but I really don't think so. This is really, really perfect for what I'm here to do as well. Yeah, and that's it really with that. That's like a mini, like a little middle, like a mini reading of that. Any questions on that? Yeah, Cynthia is very fascinating. This is very fascinating. Does it make sense, ladies? Yeah, I know it's kind of new, so you're like, oh, I don't know anything about it, but yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at the comments. Cool. Right. So with that being I'm not trying to separate the non-English speaking. I'll do another one. I could do another mini one where I'll do more preparation and get the people sorted out before we do it. So we're going to do, who would love to have a mini reading? Lisa Wade. Okay, you've got an English name. Lisa Wade, you're in. Anyone else? Amanda. Okay, so Amanda and Lisa. Let's do Amanda and Lisa. All right, ladies. And I'll really promise I will do another one soon, and we can do a non-English speaking name. And I prepared before, so I don't sit for 10 minutes and going, how do you pronounce it? Oh gosh, Cynthia says I'm a 5-1 in human design, so she's going to go down the rabbit hole on this one. Oh, that's funny. You're probably like a researcher, right? And I don't know loads about the human design. I just know that there's obviously different. I'm a generator. This one generates a lot. So what are you then, Cynthia? It's a bit off topic. Are you you are. She is a generator as well. Yeah. So you're meant to do that. Okay. So let's not talk human design now. Let's talk soul contract. So Lisa Wade, what is your birth certificate name, Lisa? If you can put it into the comment box. So that how your mum and dad actually gave you the name. So Lisa Marie Wade. Okay, cool. And if Amanda, if you can put in your birth certificate name, how your mum and dad, gave you your name. Exactly. Right. So let's just do this. Cool. Right, let's do Lisa first. And I'm going to set a timer because I have another class later on as well. So if we do sort of 8 minutes or something each, that would be quite good. Let me just set up the timer. And then it's fair as well. Right, let's get into this then. Okay, so we share the screen. That's my document. Okay, so this is Lisa's soul contract. Right, Lisa. So what I'm going to do, Lisa, I'll ask you a couple of questions. So if you can just be on sound.
Okay.
Yeah, you're there. I can hear you.
I'm here.
Yeah. So I'm looking here straight at the 10-1 and the 22 because often, so I ask you a couple of questions and then you'll be like, yeah, that's true. So growing up, was there ever something like either bullying or you felt left out or you even had some trauma like abuse or your father left you?
Oh yeah, my dad was a piece of work. Yeah. He and my mom split the first time early. So
yeah. So the 10-1, although it manifests often as the father leaving, obviously everyone who has their father leaving doesn't have a 10-1, but for some people is really significant, meaning that you are meant to heal all of your divine feminine, divine masculine energies within you and come to peace with all of that. And that happens in layers, basically. Maybe the first masculine healing you had to do might be with your own relationships to men. I don't know how far you've gone down that, the route of healing. But yeah, I mean, share away if you want. It's a confidential space.
Yeah, that's, I took on probably a pretty wounded masculine in terms of taking on just living through that perspective for so long, and have really been guided to engage more in the divine feminine aspects for probably the last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And the alchemical marriage of the divine feminine, divine masculine on the inside. That's what I've been guided to do. So
absolutely. It's actually, I mean, ultimately, that's what we are all here to do. But you have a 13-point soul destiny, which is you're actually here to express through your work, through your expression of your gifts and soul, whatever you're here. I don't know what you do, all of what you do, but you're actually here to express that through Christ consciousness vibration, which is 13-4. So, you know, what is it you do?
Well, I'm a speaker, writer, podcast host, energy coach, yeah. Came
Wow.
from background in politics and nonprofit advocacy to do
Sure.
this work. Yeah.
And also there would have been, I'm just going in here to the 22 here. So there would have been quite some, this energy is about water peace, and it can sometimes manifest as conflict in family. So I don't know whether that was something that you grew up with as well. You know, arguing and conflicts and things going on. Family matters. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So this energy is very much about you coming into peace from within and knowing when not to rise to the conflicts, learning that. So I don't know if that's something you work through, or, you know, it still arises sometimes.
Oh, with an ex-husband, it's always just right there. So yeah, lots of opportunity to practice.
Of course. So you're really here, you know, to catalyze groups as well, because you've got the sevens here. So I suppose with the podcasting and things that you do like that, you are catalyzing groups in its own right. But you also move fast with the 22 here. So it's very much about exploring lots of different spiritual interpretations, solutions, spiritual sort of material. So the more you can produce, like the more you can get through, the better for your growth. Because I think you move through different things quite quickly. Are you curious, you know, about growth?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. The fives is very much a pioneeric energy. Do you feel quite inventive, pioneeric?
Yeah, with 72 different ideas going all at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Kind of pushing the envelope on stuff. Yeah.
So you're actually meant to, the more of your inventive ideas that you can actually materialize, and it wouldn't be every single one because you don't have capacity to do them all. The more you can follow the pioneer pathway, the more success you will see. So it's really about you being completely out of the box as much as possible. I don't know if that resonates, but the 22 wants to stay a little bit traditional, you see. So you might feel do you feel pulled sometimes in different directions?
Yeah.
So fives is also about speaking the truth. So it's almost like you can't not speak the truth. It's very hard for you to not be truthful. Yeah. So tell me more about the podcasting and your mission. Where are you in your journey right now?
Sure. I've grown up and lived in a pretty conservative evangelical part of the United States, Oklahoma, and now Texas. And so I've felt unsafe to kind of be real. And I finally just got over that. And so with the podcast and the book that I'm working on right now, it's called Dirt Road Divinity. And it's basically trying to share the stories of people's spiritual journeys, and that every spiritual journey can look different, and that's okay. Trying to normalize that idea where I come from, it's like, there's only one way, and if you don't do it this way, then you're wrong and you're going to burn in hell, that kind of fun stuff. And what I've seen from past life regressions and the sort is that anytime I stand in my power and actually speak my truth, really bad things have happened. I don't know how many times I've lost my head or been burned at the stake, or and so there's some of that to get over in this lifetime, so I can really stand in my power and speak my truth. I was guided to do a solo trip to Egypt in 2019. It was basically ended up out in the desert on this temple on the top of a mountain, and was basically handed my life's purpose and went, oh God, I can't do that. There's no way I could. Yeah, and I know that I kind of have to. And so there's a lot of past stuff that I'm allowing to get in the way.
Good. But well, it's not good that you allow to get it away, because this is the thing, you see, with the fives. So when you said that, the fives is often like you've been prosecuted for speaking your truth so many times.
Yeah.
That obviously there is a past life memories of being, you know, maybe even burnt as a witch. That was the time. Burnt as a witch and all those things. So really, this is about you learning to become really safe where you express it. The 22 here, you've got two sets of that really expresses that old-fashioned, sometimes in England it's very much like a Catholic or a very Christian upbringing, or very sort of religious upbringing somewhere, or you have been exposed to that, and that sort of stifles your spiritual, you know, your spirit, if that makes sense, because you're scared basically to be outside of the box. So that's really interesting. So this is something so the more you do work outside of the box, and the more you become fearless, and sort of like say, okay, they might not like it, but I can't be responsible for that. I've got to speak my truth. The more you do that, the more you will be activating your whole, you know, your mission.
Got it.
Right. But then obviously healing. So some, you know, when I work with my clients, we heal often, you know, obviously past lives, and we heal a lot of stuff that is in the way, because we look at the soul contract and we go, okay, well, this is quite, you know, there is sort of blocking you. So how, you know, so let's unblock you basically. So I can really hear what you're saying there. Yeah, I totally get it. Totally understand. Cool. Right, let's move to the next person then. So that was a little mini reading. How did you feel about that one?
Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much. Like,
Cool.
I see so much truth in this. Yeah.
No, it's really powerful. It's really powerful. Let's just stop sharing a moment, and then we're going to do Amanda's. Let's just do this. So thank you so much, Lisa, for volunteering. Let's do this. Okay, cool. Let's go with this now. All right. Right. Okay, so the first thing that comes to me straight away. So Amanda.
Yeah.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for this. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So did you feel from a young age, like almost like, where am I supposed to fit in? Like what profession am I supposed to be doing? I don't feel like I'm fitted to any of the things that is being suggested to me.
Yes.
What the heck am I supposed to be doing with my life? Feel that?
Yes, absolutely. From very young age as well.
Yeah.
Even just in fitting in family dynamics and things like that. Yeah.
So what stands out? So because look, when I do these readings, I just obviously intuitively go straight to the thing. So you are a 10-1 here in physical talents, which means that you're really here in service. So somebody who's here fully in service as a service soul and as a light worker don't resonate with becoming an accountant, or they don't resonate with becoming a teacher. You might sort of go, it might be okay, but you know, it's not really going to rock my boat. That's why, you see,
Right.
it's often 10-1s that end up as like working in service as opposed to like actually doing the light work. So they might end up as a nurse, or they might end up as a like flight attendant, or they end up somewhere else where they're actually serving the, you know, humanity in another way. So tell me a little bit about what I know that you do healing, but what have you been doing in your life? What was your path?
It literally just has been healing and energy work. You know, using different energies to work with and fit in with those energies, really.
Yeah.
You know.
What's really amazing here, Amanda, is that you've got the 13-4 here, and then 22-4, and then 22-4. So these are like 22-4 is like a connection to source. And then you have this 10-1 here, which is like a pure channeling sort of like energy. So you really are a very, very powerful channel. It's like you're really here to teach, and you're really here to do those things. The thing that you may feel blocking you is the flow of universal abundance, because the 13-4 here would suggest possible that not for everyone, but had some, you know, problems with either your own mother or motherhood in some sort of shape or form, and find that hard at some, some level? Is this something that you experienced?
Not really, no.
Your own mother?
Perhaps with other females, maybe.
Yeah.
The
divine feminine, trusting the feminine energy, etc. Did you you have children, don't you? I think you.
Yes, I've got 3.
Yeah. So I also feel that you work through a lot of because this 4 is a lot about sharing of yourself, and if you've got 3 kids, that's what you had to do, almost is completely I should have put it, it's unconditional, obviously, as being,
surrender.
Completely surrender to the whole thing, that I've come here to share and to be in the present and be relaxed and, being present with my children. Did it teach you that? Or
Yes.
Yeah. So that's really beautiful.
Yes.
I feel like you've worked on this a lot, the 13.
Yes.
Feel it.
Yes.
Yeah, I just feel it. So 22/4. So this is the 4 is here to share share universal truth, teach other people, direct connection to source with the 4, abundance. You've got a lot of 4s here. So the soul really wants you to come into not just abundance as feeling abundant energetically, but physically, financially, feeling abundant in your teachings, feeling abundant in all the things that you do. So really wants you to work and to to manifest, basically, to create what you came here to create. Because the 4 is all about duplication, abundance, sharing, teaching, money, success. So I don't know where you feel you are at that, where you are right now in your life.
Not abundant.
So that's
type.
So you
feeling.
want to work on this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I just I suggest that. How do you feel about trusting? Do you trust that everything's going to work out for you?
I do know that everything will work out. I have a feeling everything will work out. I just don't know the how.
No.
Yeah.
So this is about you.
It's kind of the visions there and everything and the feeling, but it's kind of like how does that happen?
Yeah, exactly. So this is about you. Look, you're very connected to source, so you can see all the things, but this is you allowing the ego and say to the ego, I have to take action and make this happen in order to unfold in this way. Because if you see it in your vision and you don't take any action around working towards it, it's going to stay there, right?
Yeah.
So this is about you trusting your capabilities, really, and action to make things happen. Yeah, you've got 9s here and Soul Destiny, which is very much about, this is like the power of the 9. You've got basically the dragon energies. You're here to fully unlock, the soul's purpose. Very powerful energies. So a true light worker, you need to work on your abundance and your impact, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. That's like in a very small, small summary.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. Thank you so much. Really makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to round off. Let's see, was there any questions before I round off? So Cynthia says, this is interesting. Do we have to get the book to understand the chart? No, you don't have to get the book. It's only if you like reading, you can. Okay, so we'll teach you about the different numbers. I suppose if you want to know about your numbers, you can get the book. There is, on the soul contract, you saw that software I used, which is the triangle and everything. You can get, I think it's 3 free charts off the website, which means that if you got the book and then your chart, you could sort of self-interpret. But obviously I do soul contract readings for people, so you could book one with me as well. So how can Amanda go forward? Does she have to change her name? Yeah. Look, the way we move forward, look, this is the way how I move forward. So I obviously, yes, I did change the name, but I invested in like healing. I use divine healing on myself, but I also use divine healing for my clients. I keep clearing those patterns. So when things come up, as an entrepreneur, for example, I'm doing a money program at the moment, starts today. So as I was creating that, some more money stuff come up for me. So I then go and clear it with divine healing. So it's not like one thing. It's like knowing that there's my map. These are my key things I need to work on. How can I go deep into this work and start clearing it up and take action and invest in my growth? That's kind of the roadmap. So whether that is that you take coaching and then you have some energy work there, and then you have a business coach, like whatever order you want to do it, it doesn't really matter. I did all my energy stuff, like a load of energy stuff, and then I invested a lot in business coaching as from 2018 till I keep doing it. Basically do a little bit less in energy work investment now, although I do still do some, but there's more business and strategy and expansion sort of I do now, but that's kind of how I did it. So Lisa has to jump on. So yeah, exactly, Lisa, looking forward. So what I'm going to do, ladies, as well, I'll send you, everyone gets the recording, and you can book a soul contract reading with me if you wanted to have one. You can read the book, you can go and download a couple of shots of the soul contract reading software thing. You can just message me basically if you want to know more. So that's kind of the ways of moving forward. What else? I'll probably do another one on business and relationships as well, so we can use this work, you see. So go on, Amanda.
Sorry, can I just ask as well, do you usually go with your married name now then for moving forward, or do you still sit with the birth name and put an overlay over?
I go with my Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson.
The new one, right? Okay.
And it's really interesting, ladies. I need to tell this. So my brand is Jenny Lyon because it makes sense, because it's shorter. Do you know what I mean? It says that on the website and everything. So I can still have that, and it still is good numbers actually from a business perspective. It's got 7s, which would catalyze and draw people to me.
Right. Okay.
But I kept writing Jenny. I've done it for a little while. Kept not really thinking. Writing Jenny Lyon on my email, like where the signature is and things, and I didn't feel off or anything. I was fine. But then I was like, something is off. I was like, gosh, I'm not writing my full name on there. Interesting. So I changed all the signatures of the automation because I got Kajabi, so I can just change it in one place and it will just be the same everywhere. And then obviously in my email as well, in my normal email. And as soon as I did it, I was like, oh my God, something shifted. I mean, this is really weird, So although my intention is that I am Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson, I didn't intentionally put it on all the places. I was like, shoot, what am I doing this for? Nothing catastrophically happened, but I could feel less power. It's really weird. I was like, right, let's go back to Jenny Lyon Rainbow Anderson everywhere. It's like, let's bring it back into, alignment. So yeah, I've been thinking about it last week. I was like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? But anyway, that's just personal. Thank you, Clementina. Thank you, Shara. Yeah, cool. All right, ladies. So I'll send you an email. Get in contact if you want a reading. If you want to know more, just sign up to the masterclasses. And I'll see you all soon. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you soon, ladies.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.